The night was almost over. Outside the window, rain was falling slowly, as if someone were tapping on the glass with a finger. I was alone. I had rented this old house outside the city for a few days to escape the pressure of work. As soon as I stepped inside, I noticed a strange smell, damp wood mixed with old dust. It felt like no one had lived here for a long time. Still, the rent was cheap and the place was quiet. That was exactly what I needed. The first night passed peacefully. Nothing happened on the second night either. But from the third night, everything began to change. I woke up at exactly 3 in the morning. I know it was 3 because I checked the time on my phone as soon as I opened my eyes. The rain had stopped outside. The room was unnaturally silent. And then I heard it. Very softly, very slowly, footsteps on the floor. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Maybe the wooden floor was cracking, but the sound didn't stop. One step, another step, as if someone were walking barefoot. My heart started pounding. I held my breath and listened. The sound stopped right in front of my bedroom door. Then, from the other side of the door, someone whispered, "I know you're awake." My body turned cold. There was supposed to be no one else in this house but me. I didn't answer. I didn't move. I just lay under the blanket, staring at the door with wide eyes. A few seconds passed, a few minutes. Then the doorknob slowly began to turn. Click, click. The door was opening. I still couldn't move. It felt like my body wasn't listening to me. The door opened a little. From the dark gap, one eye peeked out. One eye, unnaturally large, completely black. And the whisper came again, closer and clearer. "You won't be able to leave me." Hearing that, I screamed and sat up. The room was empty. The door was closed. There was no sound outside. Panting, I looked around. Everything looked normal, as if nothing had happened. But on the floor, wet footprints in front of the door, coming inside and stopping right beside my bed. That's when I realized I was not alone in this house. I couldn't get out of bed. The footprints were clearly visible, wet, muddy, but the rain had stopped long ago, so where did the water come from? I slowly picked up my phone and turned on the flashlight. As the light fell, the footprints became clearer. They didn't just come inside, they circled around my bed and went back toward the door, meaning someone had stood here and watched me. After sitting for a long time, I gathered the courage to stand. My heart was beating so loudly it felt like it would burst out of my chest. I grabbed the doorknob with trembling hands. I opened the door and shined the light into the hallway. Empty. All the doors on both sides were closed. The staircase was drowning in darkness. There was no one anywhere. I tried to convince myself it was a dream, just a nightmare. But the wet footprints were real. I closed the door and lay back down on the bed. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that black eye. Just then, a sound came from under the bed. Scratch, scratch, as if someone were scraping the wood with their nails. My breath stopped. Slowly, I lowered my head and looked under the bed. Darkness, only darkness. But then, from inside the darkness, a soft whisper arose. "A human, after so long." I screamed and jumped up. I shined the light under the bed. Empty, nothing there, but I had clearly heard the sound. I couldn't stay in that room another second. I grabbed my jacket and bag and ran toward the door. I had to leave this house right now. Running down the hallway, I reached the stairs. As I started going down, I saw something written on the wall. I hadn't noticed it before. When I shined the light, my body began to shake. Written over and over across the wall, "I live here, I live here, I live here." The writing wasn't dry. It was still wet, as if someone had just written it. Suddenly, I felt breathing very close behind me. Hot breath touched the back of my neck, and right beside my ear, someone whispered, "You haven't left yet." Slowly, I turned my head, and then I saw, right behind me, I was standing there. Pale face, black eyes,
a twisted, terrifying smile. In my own voice, it said, "From now on, I am you." I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. The one standing in front of me looked exactly like me. Same face, same eyes, same clothes. Only the eyes, there was no light inside them, just empty holes. It took one step forward, I took one step back. It smiled. It was my smile, but I had never smiled like that. It said, "You're tired. Rest now. I'll take care of the rest." Suddenly, my head started spinning. The floor seemed to sway. The writing on the walls blurred. I tried to run, but my legs wouldn't move. It reached out its hand toward me, and then everything went dark. I regained consciousness much later. When I opened my eyes, I was lying in my room again, on my bed. Morning light was coming through the window. For a few seconds, I couldn't understand anything. A dream? Was it all just a nightmare? I slowly sat up. The room looked completely normal. The floor was dry, no footprints, no scratches on the door, no writing on the walls. I ran a hand over my head. It was all a dream. Thinking that, I sighed in relief. But then, I noticed.
My phone wasn't beside my pillow. I looked around. It was on the desk. The screen was on. And on the screen was a message. "Thank you for leaving me." My heart skipped a beat. I quickly picked up the phone. The message was sent from my own number. I checked the time. 3:07 a.m. Exactly the time when I had seen it at the door. I ran to the mirror to see my face. The moment I looked, my body went cold because my reflection was moving a little late. I blinked. The reflection was still staring at me. Then, slowly, it smiled. I didn't smile. From inside the mirror, it moved its lips and said, "Don't be afraid. I'll only go outside sometimes." And then I understood. It hadn't left. It was still here, inside me. I stumbled backward and sat on the bed. My hands and feet were cold. I didn't dare look at the mirror again. But the me inside the mirror was moving. Even when I wasn't moving, it slowly tilted its head, staring at me with wide eyes. I whispered, "Who are you?" Silently, it answered by moving its lips. "I am you." Suddenly, the mirror rippled like water. Then its hand came out from inside. The hand was exactly like mine, but cold, ice cold. It grabbed my wrist and pulled. I screamed and tried to pull away, but it held me tightly. Strange memories started flooding into my head. The first day in this house, the first night, the second night, but also scenes I had never seen. Other people coming into this room, people screaming in this room, people never being able to leave. I realized I was not the first. Many other me's were trapped inside this mirror. With my last strength, I closed my eyes and screamed, "Let me go!" Suddenly, it released me. I fell to the floor. When I opened my eyes, the mirror was normal. Nothing there. My body was soaked with sweat. Trembling, I stood up. I had to leave this house now. I grabbed my bag, opened the door, and ran outside. It was morning. People were walking on the street. Cars were passing. Everything was normal. I ran like a madman and crossed the gate, and just then, I heard a very familiar voice inside my head. In a calm tone, "Thank you. Now you're outside. Now it's my turn to stay inside." I stopped. Slowly, I realized my hands were moving by themselves. My legs were turning on their own. I wanted to stop, but I couldn't. I wasn't walking toward the mirror. I was walking back toward the house. Somewhere inside, someone was laughing,
in my voice. I tried to scream and stop. No, no, I don't want to go. But my legs didn't listen. I could see myself crossing the gate and entering the yard of that old house again. Every step was against my will. The door opened by itself. As soon as I went inside, the door slammed shut behind me. The room was dark again. I leaned against the wall, my breath stuck in my chest. Suddenly, all the lights turned on at once, and I saw many mirrors in the middle of the room, mirrors all around. In every mirror, me. But none of the reflections were moving like me. Some were smiling, some were crying, some were angry, some had their eyes closed, their head against the wall. I stood in the middle, trembling. Then the biggest mirror in front of me began to glow, and from it, that me stepped out. This time it came out completely and stood in front of me. It said calmly, "This house is the mirror house. Whoever comes here leaves their inner darkness behind." Trembling, I said, "Let me go." It shook its head. "You already left." Then it pointed at me and said, "You are in my place now." Suddenly, all the mirrors shattered at once. Shards of glass flew and surrounded me. I screamed, but no sound came out. I felt my body becoming lighter, like smoke. And the next moment, I was inside the mirror, not outside. It was outside. From inside the glass, I watched it walk toward the door, laughing in my body. Before leaving, it turned back once, toward me. In my voice, it said, "Don't worry, when the next one comes, you'll be able to go out." The door closed. Darkness. Silence. Only countless me's sitting inside the mirrors. I understood. No one ever completely leaves this house. Someone only goes inside, and someone comes outside. Somehow, I managed to escape there.